Okay, so welcome everyone to the first X-Share session. So this is our first event of this X-Share session. So basically, we want to let students and let anyone, lecturers, students, to share anything they want to share regarding technology or non-technology stuff. You are welcome for everything. So this is like a platform for students and staff who are interested to share their ideas and knowledge to people. As we know that everything starts from share. So when you share something, you can learn something, and also you can share your knowledge, your enthusiasm, and anything you know to others. You'll be that then the thing you have, the knowledge you know, will not just be but for yourself and also be maybe impactful to others. So everything start with share. So this is one our aim to actually start this X share session. So welcome everyone to joining today's X share. So without further ado, so our first um this for this session we will have the first talk will be by me. I will be speaking about introduction to the Google technologies. Okay, so before that, today will be a very chill session. You want to talk about anything, you can just write in the chat. We wish to have a conversation with any question you want to ask, and you want to know, you can just ask us on the comment section, or if you want to turn on the mic, you can just you want to turn on the mic and ask something, talk something, you can just write in the chat section, then we will allow you to actually do so lah. Okay, it will be like a sharing session. If I share, you want to ask anything, you want to talk about anything, add on, you can just write in the chat session. Okay, um, so without further ado, our first for the first half an hour, I'll be introducing for you guys the Google technologies available, and after that we'll have another speaker will talk about game the starting line of game development. So first, let me share my screen. Yeah, wait for a while. Okay, can you guys see my screen? Can you guys see my screen? Yeah, okay, no problem. Okay, so I'll be presenting. Okay, so before I start everything, just to introduce you guys, we also have a program. We also have a community which is called Developer Student Club Xiamen Malaysia, which is supported by Google developers. We actually discuss and share, and also we develop a wish to build up a Google technology communities in Xiamen Malaysia. So if you're interested, you can just follow our Instagram DSCXMUM. We are like sub community from XMUM Tech Club. Okay, so I'm the DSC lead from XMU Xiamen University Malaysia. So it's basically like ambassador program. So I will be leading you guys, and if you want to know anything about Google technologies, you can just um, speak to me, or you can if you want to know more about that, you know more about the events you're having, you can just follow our Instagram DSCXMUM. Okay, so without further ado, I'll be talking about introduction to Google technologies today. Okay, so first, I think a lot of you think about Google technologies are such as uh, maybe Google search and all kind of things like Google search, Google Slides, all kind of things. But today I'll be talk about something which people usually don't know, which are more deeper in depth. That these technologies build up actually help to build up the Google technologies today, the Google services today. Okay, so I'll be talking about those technologies. Okay, so there are three main categories. So the first is we call develop, and the second we call it grow, and the third we call it earn. So develop is basically like you want to develop these technologies that help to develop high quality apps, mobile apps, web apps, desktop, or even desktop apps. And next, the growth for this grow, they actually help these grow technologies. They actually help you to grow and retain your active user base lah. Example, yeah, I will be talking about the examples later, so you can actually know more about that. Okay. Um, and next, we also have earn, which this technology will help you to make more money lah. Example, you put some services or you put some apps there. These earn technologies will actually help you to earn more money. Okay. So today mainly I will be emphasizing on develop, since that we are our I know more about that. So, but I also talk about the earn and growth section now. Okay. So today I'll be introducing reversely. I'll introduce earn first. I'll introduce grow, and lastly I'll introduce develop. Okay. So for the um earn category, we have like five main things that I want to share today. So first is Google Pay. Basically, it's a paying service like Alipay or all kind of things. But you can let your customer to make easy and secure payment within your Android apps or even web apps. So you can just integrate Google Pay inside. The users can pay with Google Pay. And next, this one is the second one here. Wait, the second one here, I think is not very. You can't see this usually. It's called interactive media ads (IMA). So it's like a suite of SDK, which is a software development kit that can make you easily integrate multimedia ads into your website and apps. So example, sometimes the ads you see inside your apps or website, right? Usually sometimes are supported by this interactive media ads lah. You can just plug into the apps or website, then they can start to help you to promote your ads lah. Okay. And next, your Google Pay, this Google Pay billing lah. Example, want to purchase apps in Google Play. Yeah, this is the place for Google Pay billing lah. You so able to earn money when you want to sell apps. And next, we have AdMob, ADMOB, which is a in-app advertising stuff lah. You want to advertise things inside the apps. You can just put into this platform, and they can help you to actually put ads in those apps lah. Okay. And next, we have Google Ads API, which is like API is like an application programming interface. Actually, he can help you to manage like complex ads campaign and accounts to Google Ads platform. Which Google Ads platform I'll be talk about it later in the next session. We also have Google Ads platform. Okay, so this is basically those technologies that can help you to earn before you earn money lah. Yeah, so this is the earn category. And next we have grow category, which is they help you to grow and retain active user base. It's basically want to help you to engage for your users. Okay. Then I will be talk about 6 today here. So first is Firebase. This is basically like a cross-platform mobile solution. You can act as a backend for a mobile app, mobile or app things here. Yeah, you can act as a backend for mobile or apps, mobile apps or desktop apps or anything. Yeah. This is called Firebase. It's very useful. Yeah, it's very interesting also. And next, we will have Google Ads. Yeah, just now I talked about Google Ads, right? So this will help you to drive your app install, your engagement, and traffic your website or ads. Okay, for example, they have like Google Ads promotion, which help you to promote your ads. Google Shopping. When there's something service called Google Shopping, you can actually put your ads there. And also they have Google Ads API, which they can help you to automate Google campaign movement. Example, you want to use the API to actually help you to promote your apps, promote your things and stuff. You can use the Google Ads API. And also they have something called the webhook, WEBHOOK, which they have like a CRM system for the data you get from Google Ads, and you can display it in the CRM system. CRM means customer relationship management software management. Yeah. So basically, usually like those dashboard, the graph, how many users, the pie chart, and all kind of things. So we basically call CRM, customer relationship management system. Okay. And next, this is interesting. This is called Google Analytics. Usually you plot things, or you example, you have some apps or some websites which are heavily used by users. For example, there are a lot of customers. So you usually have this. You need to view there are a lot of data. Need to actually visualize those data, get insights, right? So usually you get, like, for example, your website have 10 million users. How you actually put it in your if you want to put it in your Google Sheets and actually plot those things is very troublesome. So they have this Google Analytics. They can help you to collect and configure and analyze data lah. So they can help you to provide some like interactive dashboards regarding your data, and also they can help you to give some insights. You can control, and also you can plot those graph and all kind of things without any codes. You just just drag and drop some things, then it can help you to analyze your data. This is very helpful when your data become big. For example, you have small number of data you can put in Google Sheets or Microsoft Excel. You can just upload some simple simple bar chart or all kind of things. Yeah, but with Google Analytics, it's helpful when your data become big lah. And then next, the grow thing. For growth, we also have Google Play. I think most of you like Android user will sure know this thing, Google Play, which is you download your apps there. You can publish your apps there. They can help you to engage your users with your apps. So this basically also Google Play is also one of it lah. Next, Google search. I think I don't need to talk about any Google search. I'm pretty sure most of you have some experience in Google search. Yeah. So if you didn't use Google search, this is impossible. Okay. Especially if you are in university, everything is a Google search. Okay. And next, we also have web push and notification API. So this helps user to actually get timely updates and re-engage them with customized relevant content. For example, right, sometimes if your Google Chrome example, you'll see some ads on the top right corner, it pop or want to have new products, some example, all kind of things yeah, on your Google Chrome example, those ads. Yeah, this actually using this web push and notification API lah. Okay, so this is basically the two main category that I talk about. First is the earn, and next is grow, and next I'll talk about the things our mainly focus today is develop. So the developed technologies here, we have a lot of developed technologies which I know, and also which are provided, and also which I wish that you guys can know more about that, because there are a lot of technologies, Google technologies developed category for the Google technologies are very interesting. So I wish that I can introduce you guys to all these technologies so that you can know that, oh, if I want to do this, I can actually use this too, provided by Google. As you know, Google's product, I won't say that it's 100% good, but I can say that it usually stays long term, and also the industry acceptable usually. Yeah. Okay. So there are a lot of technologies such as Android, Firebase, Google Cloud, Flutter, TensorFlow, Google Maps, Google Assistant, Web, this is called Web, and so Dialogflow, and also Golang. Okay, so probably you not know a lot about this, so I will be talking about that here. Before that, you have any question, you can just drop on the chat session so that we can actually answer it later. Yeah. Okay. So for here, right, I won't be just sharing the screen. I will let you guys to look at the website too. Okay. So first is Angular. Yeah. So this is basically a web application framework using JavaScript, which is a programming language usually to build websites, web apps, and they used to build mobile and desktop application led by a Google team in Angular team in Google. Okay. So yeah, let you guys have a look here. So this is the Angular website. Yeah. So it's basically one framework you can develop mobile and desktop websites. Okay, mobile and desktop website. It helps you to build websites, but sometimes websites. Let you guys to know a little bit of the difference about website and web app. For example, website is basically this is a website. You can't you usually don't display things. You don't do some specific functionalities. For example, so for some dashboard, or for some CRM, customer relation management, or some inventory stock system on this the www.inventory management system, and that they perform a lot of things, perform a lot of discrete things, not just display things, but they perform a lot of business logic and all kind of things. That we usually call it web app because it is more advanced than website. Yeah, we call it web app. Okay, so sometimes application don't mean it's a mobile app or desktop app. It's sometimes also we call it web app. So it's a one framework. You're using this framework to actually build mobile and desktop websites or web app lah. Okay, so the benefits of it, actually you can develop across all platform. Okay, you just develop and you can use in mobile, web, native mobile. Okay, and also they have speed and performance. They are usually faster because they are using JavaScript and using this RxJS thing. Yeah, and increment tooling love by millions. Okay, so people usually ask that why can't I do websites or do web app using CSS, JavaScript, or HTML only? There are a lot of limitations. First, when your data get large, you may be not manageable because a lot of things are repeating. For example, for JavaScript, CSS, and HTML, you want to have 5 different picture. You need to do it 5 times. You need to plug in 5 times. Using JavaScript also very quite troublesome. You need to document, get query selector, and all kind of things. It's quite complex. So using Angular or its competitors, maybe you will know their competitors are React or Vue.js. Yeah, these are the competitors. They're using a web framework that help you to build web apps and websites. Okay, so they using some concepts called they use something called component. So they make things, for example, a picture into a component so that you can use one component. You can reuse the component a lot of times in the entire website. And also they have something called state management. For example, you have a lot of data in your website on the web app. They have some state management tooling that can help you to manage your data flow, your state, and in the website more efficiently. Okay, so if you wish to know more about it, yeah, you can this Angular, which is supported by Google, this React, also a JavaScript library or framework to build UI, which is supported by Facebook, and this is Vue.js, which is supported by a community of open source people. This totally open source, supported by one person called Evan Yu. Okay, so these are three main competitors. Yeah, basically today we mainly talk about this Angular. Yeah. Okay, and next talk about the Google Cloud Platform. So as you know, cloud technologies are getting very popular nowadays. And for example, cloud technologies, we have Amazon Web Services, AWS. We also have Google Cloud Platform. We also have Microsoft Azure. Okay, so today I'll mainly talk about Google Cloud Platform. As Google Cloud Services, this is basically a Google Cloud computing services that runs on the same infrastructure as Google uses. So they provide services such as computing, data storage, data analytics, and machine learning. So I'll let you have a look on the website. You can look at the solutions here. Okay, sorry for that. Okay, so example, they have a lot of product in this Google Cloud. For example, you host your web app in Google Cloud. Then you can use a lot of their products. For example, you want to use some speech or text technology in your website, in your web app, in your app. Yeah, then you can integrate this. You use Google Cloud to host your website and can integrate speech to text technology inside. For example, your web app, you want to have some when you speak, you will integrate it into text, such as like Siri lah. When you speak, you integrate the text, you can just use the services here, and also they can help you to achieve what you want lah with a very easy way. For example, Dialogflow, usually we use this as a chatbot lah, a video AI platform, this or AI machine learning, API management, we have a lot of them. Like compute, we have compute engine, yeah, but they run a lot of virtual machine here. When they run a lot of virtual machine, and with container, Google Kubernetes engine, yeah, Google Kubernetes container registry, and all kind of things like Google Kubernetes engine. So you can look about Kubernetes. It's basically auto deploying, scaling, and management containerized application. So you basically divide your application into a few containers. So when you want to scale your website, scale your web app, usually in the past it's very difficult because everything is bundled together. If you want to make some changes on this part, everything will be affected. So using the Google Kubernetes and Google Kubernetes, you can actually divide all these parts into different containers. When you want to scale up one particular part, you can just like duplicate the containers, and you make things more easier to scale your website. Yeah. So also have data analytics. This is very famous. We call it BigQuery. They just do some insights things, and database. We have Firestore, developer tools, and all kind of things. You can actually have a look on the website. I won't go into very in depth today. Yeah. Okay. So back to here. So next we'll talk about Firebase. It's basically a platform to create your mobile web app. It acts as a backend for application. Okay, so here's a website. So he actually helped to mobile and web apps succeed. So they help you to build apps fast and backed by Google, and so what platform works everything together. Okay, so it basically act as a backend for your actually act as a backend for your website or web app lah. For example, usually you want to host a website, you can actually host it on Firebase. You also have something called Firestore. You actually store your data in there. You want to run some authentication, you also can use it there. For example, you want to have like Google API login, they also provided here. And also in this Firebase, they provide a lot of services that your mobile apps or your web apps may need it. So a lot of people actually choose to host their website here, Firebase. Web app lah, no website web app here, because there are a lot of services which you can use, and you don't need to hard code it yourself. Usually you want to use some other frameworks, backend frameworks, you need to code everything yourself. You want to have files, you want to have database, you need to integrate the database. You need to have ML, you need to code your own ML and plug in inside. Okay, so this is very convenient. For example, if you want to build a web app, you have front end knowledge, you don't have back end knowledge, you can actually learn more about Firebase. Okay, next we have Golang. This is quite interesting. Google actually have their own programming language. This is quite new, I think. Yeah, this is called Golang, Go language, programming language designed by Google. It's something similar like C, but it provides a lot of benefits such as like memory safety, garbage collection, and concurrency and multi-threading, which is concurrency and multi-threading is quite important nowadays. Usually used in building systems such as like Docker or Kubernetes web servers. Okay, so you can, if you want to learn more about Golang, you can really just start here. There are a lot of documentation, the project, and all kind of things. You see import main, function, they represent your FUNC, print, you have FNT, print line, print LN, hello world. Okay, this basically backed by Google. It is a programming language. It makes things usually like a lot of package you can use lah. Okay, so this is quite interesting. They usually use to build systems due to their concurrency and multi-threading benefits. Yeah. Yeah. So this is quite interesting. If you wish to know more about that, you can actually go to this website. Golang. Yeah, golang.org. Yeah. Okay. You have any question? You can just ask in the meeting chat lah. Okay. So next we go into Flutter. So Flutter is quite interesting. This is becoming a hype in the software development industry for developing apps. So this like in the open source UI software developer kit by Google. They used to build native apps for an iOS, Android, web, or a desktop with single code base. With one code base, you code once, you can deploy on all these platforms. They're using a Dart programming language, which is an object-oriented language, a C style syntax lah. Okay, so let you have look at the Flutter. So this is a Flutter website. You can actually look at their docs. Yeah, you just code once. You can see here. You just code once. You just code one code base. Then you can actually host it in iOS as an iOS app, as an Android app, or also in future they also have like a web app and also websites. Okay. This is quite new and also quite a hype nowadays because you can actually host. You can actually just code once and host in as different apps like in iOS and Android apps. Because in the past, if you want to code iOS app, you need to code it differently. For example, using Objective-C or Swift programming language to code this app for iOS. If you want to code it for Android, you need to use Java, or you use a Kotlin to code it for Android app. So when you want to maintain your app, you need to have one Android team and so one iOS team. So this is becoming troublesome lah. If your app is not very complex, you don't need a lot of functionalities. It's very troublesome and waste money. So they have something called Flutter, which is just code once, then you can actually deploy into both iOS and Android app lah. So this is becoming a hype nowadays. Fast development, beautiful UI, everything in here they call it widget. So it's like date range is one widget. This is one widget. You can just duplicate the widget and all kind of things. Yeah, we go widget catalog. Okay. If you want to know more about it, you also can come here. Here. So next, go to Android. Google Android OS, everyone knows is they also provide technologies to build Android apps. For example, here, called Android developers. So they let you learn Kotlin. Because at the past, if usually to build Android apps, they use Java. But nowadays, Google had actually tweaked the tweaked the programming language more focused on Kotlin to build Android apps because they want to promote more about the Kotlin programming language lah. Okay, so you can actually, they also provide these technologies to actually build Android app here. Yeah, iOS app. If you want to know iOS app, that is Apple technologies already. Okay. Okay, so this is also one of the hype nowadays. Yeah, machine learning AI. This like a software library for machine learning. They have comprehensive and flexible ecosystem of tools, libraries, and community resource and for build and deploy ML power application. Like their format library, so their TensorFlow, which is in Python, and TensorFlow JS in JavaScript. TensorFlow Lite usually they integrate into mobile application, and TensorFlow Extended TFX. It brings a lot of benefits such as easy model building lah. So, for example, you want to integrate you want to code usually nowadays a lot of application of TensorFlow and machine learning. For example, you want to detect the body temperature, or like when you pass through, there's a machine like look at you, they know your body temperature, all kind of things. They're usually using some machine learning libraries. Is called here machine learning libraries to actually code this logic, and they can help you to build machine learning model very easily. You can just because in the past you need to code a neural network, which is usually very usual in programming language in AI, sorry, very usually in AI, need to code each node by yourself. By using this machine learning library, they can be able to actually tweak it to the best, and you can actually less worry about those minor stuff on those code level, but focus on the solution, focus on the problem you want to solve. Yeah. So it actually help you to easy monitoring, robust ML everywhere, powerful experiment and research. They can solve a lot of things such as recognizing number and all kind of, a lot of things are there. So you can see they also help to categorize Airbnb listing photo using TensorFlow. Also a lot of company using them. Yeah. So this basically TensorFlow. You also have TensorFlow for JavaScript, and this is usually used in the web. They use TensorFlow JS. And so TensorFlow Lite usually want to deploy models on mobile embedded device, because if you want to put TensorFlow into a mobile device is too heavy for your mobile to actually for your mobile apps to actually handle it. So they have something TensorFlow Lite, which is more lightweight, and your mobile can actually handle it lah. Although it's sometimes quite heavy. And so this I didn't know a lot about this. This is called TensorFlow Extended. They usually use to preparing data and validating lah. This seems like data engineer's job. Yeah. Okay. So that's all for tonight for what I share. So this basically the technologies which I think which is quite important and which is quite on demand nowadays. So I wish you guys probably can get some insights from this talk and also know more about Google technologies. You can, because I feel like a lot of people they have interested in some technologies, for example machine learning or mobile apps, but they don't know where to start. So for example, so here is just for like introduce you guys to the technologies to do what you can. These technologies could help you to do what you want, and you can start to thinking and research from there. Okay, so it is all for tonight for what I share. Do you have any question? You can just post in the a chat session here. Do you have any question, you guys? Or if anything you want to ask about, you don't understand, you want to ask about, you can just post in the chat session. Do you have any question, guys? I'll wait for about 1 to 2 minutes, then I will pass to the next speaker. Okay. Any question, guys? Want to know more about? Interested about? Flutter, Android, TensorFlow, Angular, React, Vue, Kubernetes, cloud computing, Firebase, Golang. Don't be shy. You can just, yeah, you can just share anything there in the chat session. Chat section. Yeah. I hope we give you guys some insights, such as Angular, build websites, build web apps. You can use Angular usually, and you want to build websites. Websites you can build here. You host it here also can. You want to host it here also can. This programming language is quite useful. Even there are now backend, there are now backend frameworks which are using Golang to actually code it, and it's quite popular due to this performance for concurrency and multi-threading. And so Flutter, which is quite a hype nowadays. Android, yeah, this the usual hype. Android developers, yeah, it's quite a on-demand path nowadays. On-demand. I see that in Malaysia, it's quite an on-demand position, I can say, because there are not a lot of Android developers in Malaysia. Yeah, there are a lot of iOS. I'm not pretty sure, but I know that there are not a lot of Android developers in Malaysia. Yeah, so if you want to know more about it, you can visit Kotlin. You can just go into this platform to know more about it. Today's class basically like an introduction to those I'm not experts on all these fields, but with the bit things I know, yeah, the entry programming language is learning Python, I assume. Yeah, probably, yeah. If you want to learn machine learning, usually you start with Python. For example, um, this is one of it, the TensorFlow, which is also in Python. You can mainly in Python, and also we have something called PyTorch. PyTorch here, which is also a open source machine learning framework to help you accelerate lah. So actually Python is I could say is quite fast it's quite important yeah. And so I'm not pretty sure. I know our university has some machine learning program, but I don't not pretty sure whether they will teach Python or not. But I think Python is quite a useful programming language. It can help you to start with a lot of machine learning stuff lah. Machine learning or data science usually you will require Python now. Data science not pretty sure. Data science sometimes you have something called R. There's a programming language too. Yeah, yeah. Python. If you want to start before you start with, if you want to learn TensorFlow, before you start with TensorFlow, you need to learn some Python syntax. Yeah. And also, if you want to learn Angular, you need to have some JavaScript knowledge first. Okay. So that's all from me. So next, I'll pass to our next speaker. Right, you can share the screen. Yeah. I'll pass to our next speaker, which is Stephen Samuel. He will talk about how to game dev and the starting line of game development. Let's welcome Stephen Samuel.
Test. Hold on. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Wait, waiting for it to share. Okay, you can see it
Okay.
now.
So, hello everyone. Oh God. Sorry, I'm just nervous. This is my first time. Okay. Hello everyone. Let me introduce myself again. So, my name is Stephen Samuel. I am a student in Xiamen University taking the computer science technology major during the September 2020 intake. And my role is as a game developer. And I've been becoming a game developer for 11 months. If you want to look at my games, you can just go to this link. If you want to, some of the games are good, some of the games are bad, others are questionable. Just play if you like. Anyway, so I so you already know what the title is. Oh, so you probably know what the title is. How to game dev the starting line. So first, the world of game development is, well, the art of creating a game. It where you describe everything from the design, the development, and then you have to release the game. So you have to plan the game, then you develop the game, and finally you market the game. So you have to focus on every part from the planning, developing, and marketing. You can't just focus on developing or just marketing or even just planning. No, no, no. You have to focus on every one of them because they all matters. Now in game development, you can do either on indie or solo, so you make everything all by yourself, or you can work in a company, or I like to call it as a game development career. Now, before we move on, let me just a little reminder for you all. So first off, this isn't about how to develop a game. So I'm not gonna tell you, here are the steps of making a game. First you do this, then you do this, and finally you do that. No, no, no. That's just following instructions. That's not me. I'm gonna teach you on how to start a game development. So I'm gonna teach you not by making a game, but rather how to plan the game, then how to develop the game, and finally how to market your game. The second thing I like to tell you, this is about focus on indie game development. So I'm talking about all my experience as an indie game developer on how do I make a game, and from planning it, from developing it, and finally to marketing it and publishing to the public. I'm not going to talk about career game development. I might be talking about that in the future, but for now, we're going to talk about indie. Let's begin. So the first thing you need to know is the scope, or I like to call it the planning of the game. Now, this is essential because if you don't know about planning, it goes like this. So first off, let's say you have an idea of making the game. However, here comes the pop-up question. What is the game genre I'm going to make? What are the game mechanics? What kind of graphics I should focus for the game? Is my game possible to be made in a span of time? These are the questions that you should ask before you start planning it. Then you're making it before you start. Well, you're going to think, there's no way I'm gonna make it, and then you bail out. That's something that mostly almost everyone who has the enthusiasm of making game just poof, their enthusiasm just gone because of how hard it is. So, so the first one is the scope key. Here are the three keys that you should focus. The first one is the fun. The second one is the innovative. And finally, it has to also be realistic. The first one is fun. So, what makes a game fun? A fun game is more of having a strong style and mood and got that typo. Having a strong style and mood and trying all aspects together. So from the design and art and story, you put them all together. It's what brings a game to life. When you bring the game to life, you feel, wow, it's so fun. That's what makes a game fun. And you plan it from the start. So the ability to bring all these aspects together is what makes games so fascinating in the first place. Here are an example. This is an example of a screenshot game called Papers, Please. The game is more of you're becoming more of a guard in order to see if there are people who will enter Arstotzka, God, the country's name is hard. The Arstotzka, uh, where you have to check their passports. Either they're a yes or a no. You bring yourself into that idea. You bring yourself into the game as if you were the guard in order to check whether that people can enter or cannot enter or be arrested. Another game I like to call is an old retro game, Super Mario Bros. So you all know those games where when you play Super Mario Bros, you feel like, wow, it's so fun. Well, it is in the past, but hear me out. Super Mario Bros. Was a great innovation because you're playing as this character, this little cute character named Mario, in order to save the princess. You bring yourself as the hero to save the princess. That's what makes a game fun. Now, here's also another tip. A fun game is not just a fun for a developer, for the creator itself, but also for the players, for everyone around you. Because your game, of course, is going to be played by not just you, but also for everyone else. So make sure that the game is interesting and not boring to play, even if they are played repeatedly. So, for example, let's say you make a game. You plan the game, but if you think that it's more of a repetition instead of wow, I wonder what happened if I do this and do that, then the game would not be fun. And finally, this is a big misconception, but genre doesn't determine fun, but rather the target audience. So let's say you're gonna make a text adventure game. So it's fine, just make it. I mean, sure, either one or two of you doesn't like text adventure game, but there are other people who likes them, and they think the game might be fun. For example, like me. Now, I'm not a fan of uh, these quick, fast battle games. I'm not a fan of League of Legends or even Brawl Stars. No, I'm not. I don't like those games. Every time I play this game, I just go rage like, I'm more of these games. I'm more of a Minecraft player and Among Us player. Yeah, that's it. Although I don't like Brawl Stars and League of Legends, I still think these two are actually a fun game. And now for the second one, innovative. So what makes an innovative game is from the idea or the genius from your brain. How did you get that idea? There are two types of innovative. You can either be an original game or a fan game. So an original game are like these two games. On the left, there's the Untitled Goose, the game where you play as a goose and you make havocs around this neighborhood like quack quack. Now, this is really innovative because no one has ever thought, I never thought becoming a goose will be this fun. And on the right, there's Beat Saber. No one's ever thought like there no way you can make a rhythm game on a VR. Well, what about now? Those two are original games. Now for the next one, these two are fan games. From the name itself, you probably already know. This is Pokemon Uranium and The Legend of Zelda. These two are original games that are being made. However, people who enjoy playing the game decide to make their own version of the game. Now, I recommend focusing on the original games because it's much more easier to think of the idea rather than fan games where you have to make sure that the similarity is, well, similar, but it's all up to you, all up to the developers itself. Now, the next one is realistic. This is also important because when you're thinking of a realistic game, you have to think of, do you think you are capable to make the game? Do you think you have enough time to make it? How long are you going to make this game? You need a precise date, precise period. If not, you'll probably just poof, forgot about the game, and then you just drop it down and just left it out nowhere. You'll never finish the game. Will you still have the confidence to make the game? Will you still have the will to make it? These three questions are essential in order to make the game. Because one day you can easily drop out of making the game, and the worst of all, you will never even make a game. You'll fail as an indie game developer. So when you're making a realistic game, make sure you need a commitment in making the game. And don't excuse yourself to not work on the game. Because if you do, I don't think you will be successful. All right, we've already talked about the first part. We've already talked about planning. Now, here's one. Also, I forgot to mention, if one of the criteria fails, for example, if the game is not fun, or if the game is not innovative, or the game is not realistic, you have to start all over again. Start from scratch. Plan a new game. Now, we go to the development, the fun part. The development, first, you need to take a game engine. Here are the 4 game engines I've known that's really popular and really good too. So the left side here, these are the 3D game engines. And on the right are the 2D game engines. Unreal Engine and Unity are 2 great engines in order to make games. I've seen people make Unreal Engine and Unity for 3D. Well, they're really popular and they're really good too. I remember Unreal Engine was used in order to make a game called Life is Strange. That game is really so good, and people don't even expect that they use Unreal Engine to make it. On the left side, I said, is a 2D game. Game Maker Studio and Construct are 2 great game engines in order to make the game. Game Maker Studio 2 is a game engine made for Undertale, and Construct is a game engine that I use in order to make the games. Now, here comes the quote-unquote hard part, the assets. There are 4 assets you're going to need: the music, the characters, sound effects, and the environment. The music makes the game alive to make people know that this is, to make it entertaining. The characters is also to make the games that the player is playing the game, to make that you're inside the game. Sound effects is to make, well, how should I put it? To make it realistic, to make the game that's alive and much more realistic. Sure, music makes it alive, but sound effects make it even better. In the environment is to place so that the players can know where are they, where is this location, and how how to interact with the environment itself. There are three ways is to use to make these assets for the game. The first one is to create your own. You can create your own assets from all of them. The music, the sound effects, the environment, the characters, everything. It's gonna be really hard, I know. But don't worry. The second one, you can ask someone to create it. Ask someone for commission to make them, even if you have to pay a little bit too much. Yes, I know. Or maybe find someone who wants to make it for free. Or if you don't like these two, the last option is to borrow from someone else. There may be someone who has already made an asset. There are a lot of people who has made them. I mean, come on. We already know that there are a lot of people who made the funds, so why not assets? However, this is something important because when you're borrowing someone, you better make sure you know your license. There's the Creative Commons license where you can use the assets for whatever you want. You can modify them, you can do whatever you want. And I remember there was another license. This license is important because there is a license that forbids you in order to sell your game. You can modify, you cannot modify them. You can use it whatever you want, like for education, for just for fun, for free. But if you want to earn money, that's a no-no. And finally, it's the design. The design is more of to give the players on to give on the players on what to do and how to play the game. It's in order to players to understand and able to proceed without trouble. And it's all about how you present the game to the players. Here's an example of a good and bad design. A good one, the game should never break its own rules. The bad one, a game breaks the rules either on accident or on purpose. When I say on accident, is by, let's say, a bug or something like that. But on purpose, it's more of, well, why not? Here's an example of a bad design. This is one of the scenes I found on YouTube. A game called The House of the Dead Scarlet Dawn. As you can see on the top center, the boss health is 0. But look at this. The game's still going. You know what this means? Bad design. When the boss health equals 0, the game should have ended. The boss should have ended. But no, this is like, no, let's continue it. So yeah, this is one example of a bad design. Another example is that the game has enough mechanics, and the bad one is the game has so much mechanics that the player must remember. This is something to remember because this design is most likely to be, well, most fighting games. This is an important design for mostly fighting games. Because we now know that there are a lot of buttons and there are a lot of mechanics in order to do so. There are so much other designs that I could tell you, but for now, it's only these two. And next, so let's say, congrats, you've made the game. Now it's time to market it. It's time to sell to the world, to let them know that you have made the game. But wait, how? So I think some of you might be thinking, marketing is a bit hard, but it is important. It is an essential. It is about reaching your game to other people, not just you and your surroundings. So you don't make the game and just tell it to the people like your friends or your family. No, no, you have to tell to strangers. You have to tell like not only the ones in Malaysia or the ones in China, but even to the West side, to America, to UK, to Europe, everywhere. Make them know about it. And this is a big part of the job in order to keep becoming an indie game developer. Why? First of all, earns money. Without marketing, you don't earn money. Without earning money, you can't become an indie game developer. Without becoming an indie game developer, you die. Conclusion? Marketing is important. All right. Here are some tips that I know on how to market. These are all zero budgets. So the first one is ask the YouTuber to play your game. This maybe sound weird and there's no way it will be possible, but it is. It's possible to ask a YouTuber to play your game. You re- you send an email to one of the YouTubers, a gaming YouTuber, and then you request them to play your game, not to pay for him to play. Cause well, why should you? You just make your game. You're not gonna waste more money just to market it. Now, and also, here's another thing. When you want to go to YouTubers, make sure that their subscribers are not 10K or less. You will not get much market of it. You won't get too much reach out of it. Another one is to make trailers and screenshots. These trailers and screenshots are important. It's in order to give what does the first look of the game development? What's just the game that you've made? So you have to make them look interesting so people would expect on what to play. At least you have to make 3 to 5 screenshots or you make a video trailer of 1 to 2 minutes. It may be hard and it may be tiring, but it'll be worth it. Trust me. And finally, market it on social media recklessly. Make sure you sell it. Make sure you market it. You share everything. You share, you tell everyone, share it everywhere from Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, MySpace. What else? WeChat, Line. God, I'm not going to social media. Oh, no. But yeah, market on social media. Just market it everywhere. Just make sure it reaches out. So let's say, congratulations, you've already made the game, you've already planned it all, and then you have finally marketed it. You've earned some money. Good job. Now what? You start it all over again. Yes, the devil faces on purpose. You start it all over again, buddy. So, as an indie game developer, it is a cycle. First, you go pre-production. You plan the game. Then you develop the game. Then you market the game, and then you take a break. Take a break like a day or two, or just enough so you don't get burnout, and then plan another game, and then develop it again, and then market it, and then take a break again, and then plan it. And then the cycle will continue on and on until, let's say, you stop being an indie game developer. I know this must be tiring or this is a cycle that you cannot escape, but that's how it is. That's how you have to become an indie game developer. I know it might be tiring and I know it's scary, but don't worry. Here are some tips and tricks in order to become a game developer. Tip number 1, join game jams. Now, you might be wondering, what are game jams? Game jams are like competition, but for making games. Here are 4 game jams that I recommend, but not essentially you have to join them. So currently, out of the 4, I joined 3 of them: the Mixing Game Jam, Ludum Dare, and Game Off. The Global Game Jam is more of you go to a location, then you make the game, either on solo or with everyone or with strangers. I mostly joined these 3 earlier. So currently, I've already joined the Game Off. I just submitted my game. Mixing Game Jam, I'm tired of it. I'm not gonna join it. It's only 48 hours. Ludum Dare, I've made it during October, this year's October. And it's just good enough. I recommend you guys to join at least any game jam just to start to make game, just to get your spirit of indie game developer. Tip number 2, you will learn from other game developers. These 4 people here are also game developers, and you can look them up on YouTube. The picture here with the blue guy wearing the black sunglasses, this is Danny. Danny has been a great game developer, and it inspires me to become one. On his right, this is Jonas Tyler. This guy is also make a game with his own, although he's more of a freestyler, but this guy is good. And below here is Blackthorn Prod. His art is really good, And and I recommend you guys to watch him. He has some tutorials for help. And the left one is Vimlark. Vimlark is one of my favorite game developers because he also used Construct Tree as a game engine, and he also, and from a look itself, the monkey looks like him. Sheng Yong is also a Danny fan, and he's one. And these four game developers, they all have made their own game and going to market it. Danny made a game called Carlson 3D. Jonas made a game called Will You Snail. Blackthorn Prod just released his game called. Fuck! I forgot this game. No, something about fire thing. Dashing Fire. Yes, Dashing Fire. And Vimlock make a game called Monkeys with Guns. Bang bang. No, bang bang is not part of the part. Monkey with Guns. Tip number 3. Join communities. Communities are a great way in order to communicate with one another, in order to get updated on what's going on and what are the game jams. I recommend you guys to go. If you want to join communities, you can go to forums like gamedev.net or Stack Exchange. But I recommend Discord. Discord is a great way to to find communities. Right over here, I'm going to show you my Discord. So right over here, you can see on the left side, you can see all these servers are almost all game dev servers. Beginner Circle, Ask Game Dev, Mrs. Ace, Udumdare, Devtober, 8-Bit Jam, everything. Just a lot. And finally, last but not least, make like you play. This is my motivation of when I make games. When I make a game, I usually think I'm playing this game. I want to make the game as fun as if I'm playing it. Like, it's really fun to play it. So when I make it, I feel like I'm playing it. It feels fun. It feels exciting. It feels amazing to play it. These 4 tips, I recommend you all to remember. Well, it is recorded, so of course it will be remembered. But yeah, these 4 tips are essential, and to me, these 4 tips are important in order to become for me to become a game dev. Thank you for attending on today's Xshare. And are there any questions? You can just type at the meeting chat, and I'll try to answer them.
Yeah, so really thank Steven for the presentation, for the amazing presentation about the starting line of game development. So you guys have any question, you can just ask at the meeting chat. You want to share about anything, you just be there. Don't be shy. Yeah, we are building. We are also a community. Yeah, so you can share anything. We welcome for any critique, any comments there. So what do you guys think about today's session? Yeah, you can just write in the chat so that we can know what you are, how you feel about that. Okay, so we have today, now we have 28 here. Yeah, we're 28 here, so you guys can actually share what you wish to what you think about this session. Yeah, what you are more interested in, then we can have future extra session to talk about the topics you're interested in. Yeah, okay. Yeah, and also if any one of you here will have something you want to share, you don't need to have a mindset that you must be a professional, you must be very very good at something in order to share. Yeah, so you can just share anything you found out quite recently. Any tools you found out quite recently, example, any tools, anything, tech productivity tools, or anything you want to share, or any technology stuff you want to share, editing software, video editing, Photoshop, or anything you want to share about, you can just share it here. And you can let you gain some experience in also public speaking, which is I think is quite crucial part for your future career as speaking in front of a lot of people. It is a quite important thing, and also you can express your idea here, and so you probably will get your future teammates, yeah, people, then you can motivate each other to gain higher achievement. Yeah, so if you have any idea, you just take a screenshot here. Then if you have any idea to share about anything, you can just share about it. Yeah, you can just share about it, and we'll have a look, and then we'll probably have a short talk to talk about what you're sharing. Then we can come into one of the hosts of our X share session. Okay, so we usually plan to have these 2 week once. So if you have any idea to talk about, you can just scan this QR code and you just write a short description of what you want to share, the title, and our team will go through it, and probably you will be able to host one of our XShare session. Okay, so this is XShare part 1, episode 1. You guys have anything, any thoughts? You can just write in the chat session. Don't be shy. Yeah, because we know that our community are built based on the people, and we need you and we need people to actually know how can we need your voice to actually know how we can improve and make it better, and also make things which you are interested in. Okay, this is one of our aim, to bridge the gap between one of the aim also is to bridge the gap between industry and also academic. A lot of things you learn in the academic, in the school, in the university, are actually things that are probably outdated or not really related to the industry and all kind of things. University won't teach you Google technologies. Usually, university won't teach you about game marketing, game planning. They'll teach you how to make a game, to program it, or to make a game. They won't teach you about the thinking, the process, the marketing, the whole starting line of making a game. They won't teach you about the Google technologies such as Google Clouds. It is a very new thing, quite new thing, and probably not a lot of people know about it. And yeah, we wish to actually provide you guys more insights on things outside of lecture, which are used in the industry, and so that you can be more well prepared, and you can more well prepared after you graduate into the industry, and also you probably can get things you are interested in. Yeah, get to know things in the tech field which you are interested in. Okay, so I think this is 9 p.m. now. Really thanks you guys for participating in today's X share. We will have probably about 1 week time for you guys to actually you can sign up to be a speaker. We can talk about anything you wish to talk about. Yeah, we just will go through it, and our committee will just contact you on things you wish to share. Okay. I think that's all for today's session. Steven, do you have anything to talk about? Steven?
Yeah.
Do you have anything to conclude about? Yeah.
Well, as I can, well, to conclude, that's the starting line of game development, and I think that's, well, it seems that no one's asking, but
Yeah,
me,
probably yeah, they are
yeah,
shy. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was hoping someone would ask, but still, maybe I will become our speaker. Maybe I'll speak again.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we can align, we can discuss about it when we offline probably. Yeah, so, and anyone here, if you wish to share anything, you can just fill in this form here. Just take a screenshot first, and you can decide it later. Yeah, don't be shy. You can train yourself and to share things with the community here. Okay. Um, so really thanks Steven for sharing about the game, and also I've shared about the Google technologies. If you are really shy, you don't want to ask any question here, you wish to ask questions. Yeah, you wish to ask questions, you can just PM us on Teams. Yeah, you can just PM us on Teams. Teams, you have a chat session. You can just PM us here. Okay. Yeah. Um, yeah. Anything you wish to know, you can just PM us, and that's all for tonight. Bye, guys. Bye. Thanks you guys for participating tonight. Bye, guys.